Good morning, lovelies, and welcome to my cheese Kransky video. Okay, so first of all about the Kranskys. Now, Kransky is a German type sausage. So if you're one of my lovely expats living somewhere else in the world and you can't get your Kranskys there, just go to your butcher or your meat deli section or however it works and just ask them what type of German sausages have they got that are close to Kranskys, and you should be able to do them with that. I think like even the Asians make their own sausage and that too. And if you like eating it, why wouldn't you just wrap it in puff pastry? So just do it. Alright, so these ones I got from IGA from the deli section. It cost me $9.50 for 4. So once you've made them all up, they're still a little bit cheaper than buying them at your bakery, but the only difference is they're not hard as a rock from sitting in the oven for hours, do you know what I mean? So always fresh is best. So the only difference with these ones and chili ones is the actual Kransky itself. It's not what you do with it, it's what's in it. So these have got cheese in them, that's why they're the cheese Kranskys. And the chili Kranskys have got the chili in them. So you buy the different sorts. I think you might even be able to get a peppered Kransky now as well. So how to how to see that they're different, right, is that if you're doing, like, say if I'm doing these ones, the cheese ones, I'll put sesame seeds on top. And if I'm doing both and I've got chili ones as well, usually with the chili ones I'll put poppy seeds on top. And then that just means that you can tell the difference when you pull them out the oven. Okay, so the first thing we need is our Kranskys. The second we need is some frozen puff. Thawed out. Now I've only grabbed a couple of sheets out because to be honest I haven't made these in ages. So I've got a couple of crusty ones out, so I'll just show you how you can work with puff pastry that's a little bit too dry that you've had sitting in your freezer for a while. Just one little trick to it to make it easier. Alright, so I've got some sesame seeds, I've got one egg over here that I'm going to beat up with a fork. Preheat our ovens at 200 degrees Celsius. Get ourselves a cookie tray with some baking paper and let's do this. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is get the puff. I've already thawed these couple of sheets out. I'll just move everything else and make sure you're in view this time. I'm bad for that. Okay, grab a knife. Now you want to cut them at roughly like, no, I don't know, which class that is, 4 centimetres or something. Right, so just strips like that. See my finger there? And no, I don't have big hands, so so you just want to cut them in strips like that. Now, like I said, this is old puff pastry, so it's all dry on the ends and stuff like that, right? So I'll just cut the strips first. And then I'll just chop the end off on both sides, just to get those really dry bits off of there. Okay, now when we go to wrap them, the best way to do it is to actually, when you wrap them, you don't want to wrap them with a tight, dry top. You want to wrap them with the wet underneath, okay? So we're just going to get it on there. And I like to do it like right over like this because everybody's different. Some people like hanging out their sausage, right? I don't. I like covering it right up because I think it doesn't dry the sausage out. And I hope not in your way. And you just move your pastry around until you can get it to overlap. Oh, you know why? Because that was the edge bit. That's why that's so dry. See? Okay. So I'll just cut a tiny little bit off that edge bit because that's just made that way too dry on the edge too. Put it down there. Alright, try again. Get another one. Okay, we want to wrap the wet on the inside, so I'll leave it out heaps. And then you definitely want it to overlap. So when it overlaps like that, some people will leave that all open. I actually love to close it up as much as possible anyway. So yeah, I reckon it just makes the sausage nice and moist still, not dry it right out. So once you've done that, just alright, then we start wrapping. So we just want to overlap half of it, I do. Like so. And then you grab your next piece. Don't lose it. And with the wet, I'll join it onto there. Wet side down. And wrap again. Now you can do them with skinnier pieces, you can wrap them with not so much overlay, you can do a tiny little bit if you want, but I mean, I love pastry. So, you know, overlapping halfway is perfect. Like a saw. And the next piece. So far we're on our third strip. Find where it is. Just push it onto that edge bit. And keep on rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Half over. One more. Oops, wet side down. Push it on good. Keep it rolling. There's no massive science to it, and then cut it where you want. Like I said, I like to cover the ends up. Sorry if it's taken a little bit long, but this is it. This is all there is to it. So I thought I might as well just do it properly and just show you how I do it. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be good at cooking. Just stuff around with it. You'll get there. Okay. So now I've got the end done. I'll just fold it in. Then that bigger lap hopefully go over the top. Boom! We've got our first Kransky rack. Oh, I'll just go down so you can see it. How nice is that? So you can see when my goggles on. Alright, and there's our first one, just like that. Okay, so now we're going to do all four the same. Baby! Oi, these are so much fun to make because they're so easy, it's awesome. Alright, so you're going to need 2.5 sheets of puff pastry for 4 of them. Now the last one here is with black and gold pastry because I ran out of the other stuff, and it's only 3/4 of black and gold pastry. So I'm going to leave it exactly this way when I put it in and out, and we can tell the difference between the really good pastry and the cheap pastry. Alright, so now that's done and they're wrapped up beautifully. Did I mention how much fun that was? Alright, so you beat the egg up with a fork. Now either you can use a pastry brush if you want. If you don't have one, just dip your nice clean fingers in and rub it all over them. Now when it comes to the ones where you're going to put seeds on top, what you want to do is just have a cloth handy so you can wipe your hands quickly. And you want to put the seeds on as soon as you put the egg on it. Alright, so it doesn't dry out like too much too quick for you to have the seeds to stick to it. So I wipe my hands with a cloth, grab the seeds and whack them on while it's wet. So I'm only going to do a couple with seeds and a couple without. Oh mate, they look awesome. This is so much fun. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, alright, so if you want to be fancy, you can go out and buy 4 pieces of prosciutto because it's really, really thin. Make sure they cut it really, really thin. And if you want to be fancy, you can wrap your sausage in prosciutto first and then wrap it in the puff pastry. Just something different as well. Okay, now they're all done and gorgeous and ready to go. We've got our oven really hot at 200 degrees, so make sure it's been on long enough to have it really hot. We're going to put them in there for 10 minutes on the 200. Then we're going to turn it down to 190. And I will tell you in a minute exactly how long they took in my electric oven. Oh mate, it smells like Kransky's in here. Oh, yum. Look what we just did, my friends. Have a look what we just did. Awesome. Alright, so 200 degrees for 10 minutes and then 190 degrees for 40 minutes. And you have yourself some awesome, awesome cheese Kranskys. Well, there you have it, my friends. The best ever cheese Kranskys. Of course, you can always put a bit of sauce with them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have yourselves an awesome day. Definitely give this one a crack. It's really easy and it's a great payoff. See ya!